There we go. Recording in progress. All right. Town of Monroe Board of Finance, Thursday, November 17th, 6 p.m. It's called to order. We have Mary Hall.
Here.
Steve Kirsch.
Here.
Rebecca O'Donnell.
Here.
Catherine Stoffer.
Here.
Greg, you said is not there.
He is not here.
All right. We got Ken Kellogg.
Oh, I'm here. And Ron just advised that Greg will not be able to make it.
Got it. And Ron is here, then I'm assuming. Since he's
Yeah,
advising.
I'm here.
Heidi.
Heidi is not here.
Okay. Is Frank there? Frank, that's
Yes. I'm here, Mike.
excellent. And is Joe with us tonight? I don't know if he was.
Hey, Mike, I'm here. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, you're there too. Perfect. All right, let's do this. Approval of meeting minutes and voting record for October 20th. Somebody want to make a motion?
Steve Kirsch, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes and voting record for October 20th, 2022.
I'll
We have a
second.
Thank you,
Catherine.
Rebecca. Catherine, sorry.
Okay.
Sound the same. Any discussions, comments, questions? All right, hearing none. Any opposed? Hearing none, we pass. Terrific. Communications for selectmen, you are up.
Thank you, Mike. The only thing I have is related to an item that's under new business. There's a memo in the packet. I can defer that until you get there on the agenda.
Perfect. All right, superintendent, go. Floor is yours.
Hey, folks, thanks. I'm just here. Sheila Castelli, the assistant superintendent's here, and Jen Parcell, the director of student support services here. I'm going to ask Jen just to give a little update in a second on kind of how we're trending in the area of special education. I know I spoke to you folks a while ago this year and talked a little bit about, you know, a lot of the as we all know, a lot of the surplus of the last few years on the board of ed side has been, you know, the result of realized savings from, you know, students not receiving, I should say not receiving services, but not being able to utilize their programs because of the pandemic. I know earlier this year, I talked about the fact that, you know, that's not the case this year. We have all of our kids were being programmed. And we still continue to see a pretty good inflow of students into Monroe. So, you know, our goal is to not have to ever touch that contingency that we're so thankful that this board developed for us. But I did want to give Jen an opportunity to just address that and kind of where our numbers are, because they are hitting pretty high. And, you know, looking at our encumbered funds so far this year, you know, we're starting to push up against it right now. So I'll let Jen take over.
Hi, everyone. So thanks for giving me a couple of minutes tonight. So if you just take a look at my special education student enrollment, you can see that at the end of the school year, we ended with 544 students and we graduated 35, which left us with 509. Started the school year, a couple kids moved in and then started the school year at 514. And you can see if you look all the way over on the left-hand side of the students registered between August and October 1st, we had 9, 6, and 1, which gives us 527 students. So last Monday, I reported out we had 527 students. And since that time, we've already enrolled another 5 students in district who have are identified with special education needs. Okay, so we're already up to 532. So I think it's just important that everybody can hear that. And then just something to talk about. I know it's been talked about in the past, but that if a student moves into district and they were outplaced in a private school or they have specific services that wouldn't be offered within the district, we are obligated as a district to support those needs. So if someone were to be moving in and they were, like I said, if they were outplaced, then we will be taking over the funding of that's what that student needs until the time that they don't anymore. So just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that our numbers are going up. And this month, all of a sudden we have quite a spike, and obviously the month it's not over yet. Okay. So that is my enrollment right now. And then looking ahead, if I also attached my year-to-date budget that I reviewed last week and at the Board of Education meeting. And if you just flip through the pages, you'll see we have some overages and a couple of lines, but the one that's the most significant is my transportation. And that is because I planned my budget in October and I had students who were outplaced in the winter time of last year. So tuition was not included in my budget and neither was transportation. So that line is significantly over. I've asked Ron for a transfer on that to see if we could transfer some money to offset the tuition, the transportation line to help us a little bit. And we're definitely working through that. But I just wanted to make everybody aware of where we are right now and the situations that we have.
I just thought it was important, Mike, that, we start having the conversation as early as possible. I don't want to come later in the year if there's anything. I just want to keep everyone apprised of where we are.
Yeah, and that's exactly, really appreciate that. I guess my only question would be, do we have any rough estimate of, do we feel like if it stayed the way we are today, we'd be, right at budget, or are we, 100 or 2 over, or are we looking worse than that?
I mean,
or is it too early to tell?
The new placements are not.
The new placements are not, they were not budgeted for. So
Are they encumbered at this point? I don't think they're encumbered at this point.
they are not encumbered.
Yeah,
No, they are not encumbered at this point. So I'll have a better understanding of that in about a month. We're getting close. We're getting close there.
Right. Okay.
So Mike,
So you-
this is Rebecca. I have a quick question,
please.
unless you have another one. Okay.
No.
So Ron, I just wanted clarification. So in the packet, there was, let's see, tuition within, I think it's public public within, does that mean within district tuition?
No, that's outplaced students. that are
That's
public
Yeah.
school.
Okay.
What page?
So it says page 2, but I don't. Because I saw that at 400%, and I'm assuming that carries over into your report here.
Yeah, so that's public, public tuition.
Okay.
So, Ron, this is Mary Hall. I
Mhm.
had that marked as an earmark also to ask tonight. I didn't understand the answer to that. It's 400% over. What was the?
So that's that may not be,
I don't,
I don't know if that's all, either that or something is encumbered in the wrong line, which is possible.
mine's showing 115% over, because I'm over about $116,000 in that line. I'm not sure if there's something else that's added into yours that looks different than mine, because mine's
I'll
on
tell you
page
what, let me
1.
go, it'll
Okay.
take me 2 minutes to go pull the details. on
Okay.
that,
Yeah, because running at that rate,
It's not-
I think we're gonna need, some help there.
Really.
Yeah, this line can't be right.
And this is Mary Hall again. So which account on the Board of Education pages, which 7,500 accounts, which is the one that you're saying you're at about 97% right now with?
It looks like it's 755,610, right? Tuition
Yeah,
special.
that's the account we're looking at, right?
That-
Exactly.
yeah.
That's the account that we're looking at, that to what the vice chair asked was the 400%. Is that where but that's not where your transportation number is that you were speaking to. What is it?
No,
No.
no, it's not.
Transportation's another one.
Transportation line is on, I'm not sure if you have the packet I have, but it's ends in 755-100.
Yeah.
That's the one that's 99.7.
Okay, that's the one that's 99.7. Thank you.
This,
Mhm.
yeah.
So that
Now,
was,
those encumbrances, are we comfortable with those, or do we think there's some of those new special ed students are going to require transportation as well?
Correct. Some of the new special education students are going to require transportation.
Okay.
Right.
So we have everything encumbered of what we knew at the time that I
Right.
presented this last week, but yes. There's going to be
That's what I
more.
figured.
Okay.
And these new students, they were all from, where did they come from?
Different towns, different states,
Yeah, I was gonna say, they from within Connecticut or outside?
some.
I would think some are also in district already, like it just, or no.
Not
These
the
are
ones
all-
No, not
Maybe
the
two.
five, not the new five.
So that's showing so much over budget because the excess cost number
not.
gets netted in
It's
there.
not, so you,
Yeah.
right.
And we haven't, we don't receive that until March.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so you'll get us an update January or late December?
Sure, yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Anything else we need to be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, I know I've talked before about, and I've talked to the Board of Ed about this too, just, we've talked about the preschool numbers here before and the impact that that's having on space at the in the schools in general, but especially at Monroe Elementary, where, we got rid of the conference room this year to make that into learning space for one of the classrooms downstairs to add another preschool room, but we're at capacity there, and preschool is something that only continues to get added into as children come from the birth to three program into that. So there's a good chance that we might have to, add another section at some point this year. And, quite frankly, we're running out of space. So we're gonna be, we have to be looking for space soon. Did talk to the, at the last Board of Education meeting, we talked a little bit about the capital plan and we put facilities and demographic study on there for, obviously for the future. We're gonna have immediate probably space needs in the next year or so. And then I think we really have to look at spaces, I don't think anyone could have predicted what would happen during the pandemic in terms of student enrollment, but
Right.
We're finding this a very attractive place apparently.
Good news and
do
bad
we-
news, yes.
Do we have any visibility to the 0 to 3 potential population?
We really don't. One of the things.
Oh, well, we do get information from the state for students that are going to be turning 3, because it's our obligation to test them prior to their 3rd birthday. So we do get that. So right now we have 19 kids in the pipeline right now that are being tested that are going to be turning 3 in the next couple of months.
In the next couple of months?
A big conversation that we've been having amongst the superintendents, because again, this is something that's being seen. Jen went to look at the program over in Trumbull and they're having similar space issues. A lot of the services that were provided to kids during the pandemic, birth to 3, were done virtually. I'm not certain, the rumor is not all those services have returned to fully in person. And think about how difficult that is to provide services to kids, birth to 3. It's hard enough for high school kids, for God's sakes. So, our numbers, right now we're at like 80.
We're at 89.
89 kids. Normally, we start the year with about 36 and finish with about 55. We started this year with 80, I think like roughly 80. I know I shared that number earlier. Like I said, we're at 89 now. So, but that has been, I think, a challenge for everybody, but it's definitely, put additional pressure on us for sure.
All right, well, really appreciate the updates and just keep them coming. We're obviously, we're all in this together and we know it's a moving target. So we appreciate you keeping us abreast of where we're at.
Thanks.
Thank you.
No problem. Run anything on the EMS building committee we want to touch on or?
So that they did not provide a report. I did not take it off the agenda just because I wanted to.
I didn't think so, but I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Perfect. All right, public participation. Do you have anybody there?
No.
All right, cool. All right, new business, our 2023 meeting schedule.
So Mike, this has to be provided to the town clerk's office by the end of January.
Yes, January.
So we could certainly, come up with the meeting dates at this meeting, or wait till
Yeah,
the
let's do it.
December or January meeting, and people could just start, seeing if they have any conflicts.
So Mike, I assume we would start by talking about just continuing the third Thursday at 6 o'clock, the way we've had it for the last couple of years.
Mike, you're on mute.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I had somebody talking in my ear. My boss should be gone by now, but he's still here. Sorry about that. Yeah, exactly. I'm still in the office. So Ron, catch me up. Where were we on dates now?
So Steve had actually, Steve, you want to repeat what you?
Yeah, Mike, I said, I was assuming we would just start with the idea of continuing with the third Thursday at 6
Exactly. That's what I
p.m.
did is I jotted down those dates. So unless somebody had a specific objection or there's a holiday somebody catches on before us. So you'd be looking at January 19th, February 16th, March 16th, April 20th, May 18th, June 15th, July 20th, August 17th, September 21, October 19th, November 16th, December 21st, January 18th.
In January what?
January 18th of 2024.
That's good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. I
Yeah.
don't see anything.
I don't see anything either, but that's good. So that's,
You want it in the formal motion?
yeah, we might as well, right?
Sure. I move that we adopt the 2023 regular meeting schedule with the dates as stated by the chair.
We have a second.
Second,
Any further discussion?
Can I just go through those
Please.
dates one more time?
Go ahead, Ron.
Okay,
Yeah.
so January 19th.
Yeah.
Yep.
February 16th, March 16th.
Yep.
April 20th.
Correct.
May 18th.
Yep.
June 15th.
Yep.
July 20th.
Yep.
August 17th.
Yep.
September 21st.
Yep.
October 19th. November 16th.
Yep.
December 21st, and
Yep.
January 18th.
Exactly. Perfect. All right. Any further discussion?
Yeah, Mike,
Go ahead.
let me just ask Joe, and those don't correspond with any vacation periods for the school, do they?
maybe April,
April 1 is the one that I was.
might be able to break, yeah.
Generally doesn't
You're always
affect
doing
us. but-
special, you're always.
Right,
doing special
exactly.
meetings in April anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because you got the budget in April.
Yeah,
Right, we're
okay.
usually in
I
budget.
didn't know of any other
time.
conflicts, but I didn't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, no, you're right, but yeah.
Okay.
No, that's great. All right. Anybody opposed? Hearing none, we pass. Beautiful. Next item is proposed appropriation from contingency. Ken, you're back on that stage.
Thank you. So I have a memo to you guys in the packet. Hopefully that explained it, but just to summarize, you remember when we were doing the current year budget, one of my recommendations was we, working with Ron and our Public Works Director to increase the contingency line for various energy related costs. About $250,000, well, it was $250,000 was kind of the number that we used to build into the contingency number. Not that it's earmarked for any one thing, but that's what was considered at the time. We got just under $758,000 in contingency that has not been tapped into at all yet in the current fiscal year. And one of the things that Ron and Chris have been looking at is our electricity supply costs. As I'm sure everyone knows, electricity gets billed in there's two different sides of the bill. There's supply and there's distribution. This is strictly on the supply side. We have a current fixed rate with Constellation for supply. It goes to the end of calendar year 23 and is at around 7 cents a kilowatt hour. As everyone probably knows, those rates are going, they're currently about double that, and they are projected to increase further. I've been hearing word of could be in the 20s in the future. So one of the things we're looking at is trying to hedge that a little bit. And they've gone through a bunch of different options, and the recommendation is to pursue a lock-in of a higher but more favorable rates in the future than we might get otherwise by basically extending our current agreement out through the end of 25, but it would be at a higher rate. Currently around 11 cents a kilowatt hour. That would have to be locked in still. But that's the general number it's at right now. To do that would be a hit for the current fiscal year. But again, that's, one of the reasons we built contingency in was for things like this. Ron's estimated about $200,000 would be necessary. The bulk of that would be on the Board of Ed side, as I indicated in my draft resolution, and then the rest being for various town departments. So that's the, Ron, anything else you want to add to that? But that's it in a nutshell. So, you're playing a little bit of a what if game, but right now, I could think, at least as we discussed it, we feel like the risk of not locking in would put even greater pressure on us in future budget years, and it'd be advantageous to kind of have some predictability, even though it's higher than what we're currently paying.
Okay, that would take us through to how long?
I'm sorry?
This would take us through December of 2025, Mike.
Okay, so we'd basically be extending 2 more years.
2 more years, right?
Yeah. Basically, they call it's a blend and extend. We've done it where we were able to procure lower rates. This one is actually using our current lower rate to kind of smooth the budget impact of higher future rates.
Well, I kind of like it because it kind of locks us in for 3 years. So we have a predictable, number for the next 3 years, which is certainly a good thing. So not that I love taking a hit in the current year, but we did build in for that.
No, and again, if we don't do this, we would certainly have to be looking at locking in rates well ahead of, the end of next year. So it's not like we could wait until December of 23 to make a decision either.
Right. Exactly.
So,
okay.
Mike, this is
Anybody have,
Mike,
go ahead, Mary.
Mike, this is Mary. Question. So is the 0.1175 a locked in rate through December of 2025?
Yes.
That is the rate.
At or about that rate. We have not acted yet, obviously, because I don't have the funding for it, but presuming
that's the assumed rate. Yeah.
Yeah, presuming this board, and this will also have to go to council since it is a transfer from contingency. So presuming that you and council both approve this, then, Chris and Ron and I would work to, find the most advantageous time to lock it in. If we were to do it today, it would probably be at 11 or close to that.
2 days ago, the rate
lower, right?
It was 0.1112.
It's a little bit lower, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So the 50.
Just to clarify again, when you do lock it, it will be a locked rate through that full time period.
yes, this is a fixed rate deal that we would be doing. There'd be it'd be the only reason to do it if it was fixed. Yeah,
For the supply side.
for the supply side, right. Distribution's a whole other animal.
So Ron, are you keeping that $50,000 in the contingency for energy?
You're talking
Well-
about the 50,000 above what we'd be transferring out.
Yeah.
It would have to
Right.
remain in contingency
Right.
unless this board and town council
Right,
Took action.
vote.
but do you still earmark it for energy costs, or does it go back into like the whole?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Okay.
that's kind of for reference. I mean, the contingency, it's kind of just trying to refresh everyone's memory on how the contingency line was built. And then
Okay.
but once it's in there, it can be used by
It can be
anything
used for
that,
anything, right?
anything
Yeah.
as long as the first selectman, the board of finance and the town council agree upon it. So
Right,
it
okay.
really can be used for anything.
Gotcha.
But yeah, in theory, we'd still have that 50,000 to play for other energy issues, but there's actually some other, there's some other buckets I think were in there that probably won't be needed. So there's, there's some, I mean, I think we have a comfort level at this point,
Yeah,
that we're not putting that whole line at risk.
So,
Okay.
so I just have, this is Mary again, one more question. The current contract with Constellation, was that just an annual or was that for a set period?
Now, that was a prior,
Yeah.
5-year.
no, I think
For 3 years.
that here, I think that was actually an 18-month, but we entered into it probably like 2 or 3 years ago. And there was a prior contract before that with
That's what
Constellation.
okay.
But it expires, it does expire in December of 2023. So like just about a year out.
The current contract run,
The
right?
current does, yes.
Okay, so this would give it 2 more years. Have you thought of, and I'm just throwing it out, have you thought of looking at another provider? Or have you looked at another
So
provider?
we use a consultant who kind of shops the market for us. And, he's not pressuring us to lock in. We were actually previously in a consortium with a couple other towns, Bridgeport included, and they're taking a little bit of a different strategy. They're actually doing, I think, what's called a block index, where they're going to buy some of the, which we could do also. It's a little riskier because you don't know what's going to happen with the market over the next 6 to 8 months. But what they're going to do is keep their current prices intact and start purchasing over the next year for the 2 years out after that, which is another strategy.
So they're spending ahead.
They're buying their blocks
Okay.
over 25% increments over the next year. I mean, no one's got a crystal ball. The variables are the global economy, wars, and
And you can't figure that out?
so
Do they have a similar 2023 end of their current contract?
they do.
So they're going to take the savings up front and gamble a little bit on the back
On
end.
the back, right.
Exactly.
Where this thought process was to smooth it out a little bit.
Yeah, we're actually giving up a little on the front end and just to smooth it. Which again, I like.
Yeah, Mike, this is Mary again. I just want to be clear, I understand. So the $200,000 that we're looking at right now is to cover the expected overage in the current fiscal year spent up till June, or up until June. But the contract itself will, if we go with this, will there be an amended contract that will take it from, let's say you decide, it gets approved and it's effective with December, Ron? Does it then get signed all the way to 2025?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm. Right.
Okay.
That would be the purpose of
Anybody
it.
else?
And then for future budget cycles, we have a
Fixed number.
predictability, right?
So Mike, this is Steve. I'm prepared to
Yep.
offer a
Let it
resolution.
rip.
Resolved that pursuant to Chapter 8, Section 7I of the Town Charter, the Board of Finance authorizes and approves an appropriation of $200,000 from Board of Finance contingency to be transferred, A, to increase various town department line items budgeted for electricity in an aggregate amount of $58,000, and B, to the Board of Education in the amount of $142,000.
We have a second?
Rebecca O'Donnell, second.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. Any opposed? All right, we're all good to go.
Thank you.
Take it to council, Ken. Perfect. No, I think it's a great plan. I think it's very good forward thinking of looking out for a couple of years, which is where we're trying to get to. So falls right in. All right, 2023 financial reports, general fund budget reports. Ron, anything to call out?
Yeah, well, does anyone have any questions before I kind of walk through a couple line items?
The only thing I saw was, it looked like under, I can't find it now, but under the police, there was like traffic something that looked like it was trending higher. Yeah, I don't know what that stands for. 151530.
Oh, maybe, yeah,
10.
traffic control.
So I don't know if that's related to current work and if we expect that to go
Yeah,
down.
it's on page 10 of the town year-to-date budget report.
151530 traffic.
A lot of it's just encumbered though. Yeah.
So we're okay.
So
It's on the Zolkin.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
And this is Mary. Ron, I had a question on the IT. The second category, the IT salary other, there's a 0% used. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so that's in Mary, we haven't allocated the IT salaries over from the Board of Ed yet.
Those are the ones we share with the Board of
We
Ed.
share with the Board of Ed, 7 of the IT employees are split 50-50 between the town and Board of Ed.
Okay, anybody got anything else? Public schools fund activity statements. Ron, Joe, anything you want to call
Yeah,
out
so
there?
one thing I did, I know we discussed them a little earlier, but we do have a couple of collective bargaining agreements that should be ratified shortly. So there will be some, once that happens, there will be some salary pushed out throughout, some salary adjustments pushed out throughout the budget. So Mike, when, over the next 4 to 6 weeks, the clarity of where we sit with that, coupled with the special ed, we should have a better.
Give us a better idea.
Yeah. That was just kind of a global.
Which bargaining units? I know there's teachers and.
Oop, did I lose you there?
Nope.
Nope, good. All right, tax collector.
Okay, we're trending about the same as last year. Just, I sent out, real estate statements out, beginning of the month, hoping to, we had like 170 delinquent real estate accounts. So I sent them out, hoping to drive up some. We did get some to pay. And there's a couple of them that that they sent checks and we never received them, so their institution is looking into it, like what happened to it. There's two of them, just two accounts that they, I don't know if it's a post office issue or their institution didn't send the check, but, you know, we never received them in the office, so. And, the only thing is, it's not affecting anything what we have now, but I did get 3 bankruptcies in the last week.
Really? Interesting.
But they were all paid, so it doesn't affect anything because they did pay their accounts. But I just want to let people know that it's starting to happen. So I know it's going to happen because I see the trend, but I just want to let you know, all those accounts were paid, but I have a feeling a lot more are going to be coming in with foreclosures and all. I know we had about 3, I think I told you last time that we've had seen foreclosures starting to come in too. But not with us, you know, with the banks foreclosing, because now COVID's over and they're starting to go through the courts. Which
Right.
we become whole once they take them over. So it doesn't affect us, but I just want to let you know, trending wise, people are hurting out there.
Good to know.
Well, historically, there have always been a certain number of, unfortunately, foreclosures, but none of them occurred during COVID because of the moratorium.
Right,
So
right, because of the
I don't know if
moratorium.
this is, you know.
It could be trending
as-
because of
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
COVID.
mean, as much as, you know, you don't want to see any of that, it's not necessarily,
Right, if you spread it over the
Spread
3
it out.
years, it might be
Right.
normal.
you'd have to, yeah, it might.
You'd have to
it might
normalize
be,
it.
But you gotta.
Yeah,
you know,
it could be because, you know, now the moratoriums
Yep.
are over and
Right.
now they're starting to proceed the banks. I just,
No, good point of.
Expected.
Treasurer?
We continue to benefit from the,
Oop,
go
sorry.
ahead, Mary.
Yeah, sorry. Deb, just a quick question. On the revenue pages, there's supplemental of 700,000 and prior of 600,000. Nothing's been recorded so far. Do you anticipate that we're not going to get that revenue in this year?
oh, we'll get it in.
So
Okay.
can I just, Mary, you're talking about on the revenue report on page 1 of the
Yes.
year-to-date budget report? Yeah,
Yes.
so we record all the tax sales in that top line item. See the
Okay.
44,448, and we do allocate those typically at the end of the year throughout. So if the number you kind of want to look to match is that 53% collection rate, which is spread over all the various tax revenues.
So how much of the 44 million that was, or the 44, would you say is attributable to the other 2 categories?
So what I would do is go to Deb's report for that. We just don't break it out in the general ledger typically until the end of the year. We do a
You need
reconciliation.
the breakdown between the interest and everything.
Yes,
If you go to my report on the second column, you see the total is 44,000, 43, well, almost 43,900 is the
13 million.
current
43 million.
taxes, the interest, the back interest, the suspense, the prior year taxes, and the liens that we collected, all come out to 44,000. If you look at the next
44
column,
million.
44 million.
44 million.
We'd be having a whole different conversation.
A little off. 44
Okay.
million.
The other thing I want to point out too is Deb's report cuts off at October 31st. We run the year-to-date budget report through, I think it's run through November 14th. So there's going to be a little bit of a timing difference there.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Now the treasurer.
Okay, if we go back to the treasurer's report, again, we continue to benefit from the increase in the interest rate. As of today, the stiff rate was at 3.92. If you look on page 2 of the year to date, you'll see we're well above our annual budget of 200,000. Right now, we're at 479,000. And again, we benefit there both in the general fund and in those two accounts, the Lilly and Wilton accounts that we brought over. Now, there is another side of that sword, though. When bonding comes up, we will be looking at increased interest rates on the other side of it. So
Yes,
it
we
it all
will.
looks very good right now, but we do have that. Just one other note. I don't see any near-term change in terms of what we're doing, but I am continuing to look at what's happening in the market. The Fed is probably on track for another 50 basis points coming up in December. Then the debate is, do they pause? Do they ramp down? What do they do? We don't know. But you see some other financial obligations out there that are starting to look pretty attractive. A week ago, when I looked at it, the 1 month treasury is up to a 3.56% yield, which is, a year ago, you never saw anything like that.
Right.
The 6 month is up to 4.58. So don't see any changes near term till we see what happens and settles down. But again, it's probably time to keep looking at other investment opportunities in the market. Should we see that turn to see if there's something else that makes sense for some portion of the funds? That's it.
No, I think that's a great heads up because it definitely we haven't been in this kind of a market in a lot of years. So
Well, Ron and I were talking earlier, and what did you say that rate was?
January 2008.
2008.
Wow.
all right.
No, you know what happened after
I
that.
think everyone
Yeah.
relive.
Anything else on the 3-year budget model you want to talk to us about, Ron?
Yeah, no, I think I had told you guys December. That was my recollection. I do not have any updates at this point.
Perfect. And then on our review of roads, do we have any updated dates on when the study's
they're
going to be
work-
done?
I mean, no, they're working on it. I don't have any,
So have they started the?
I believe so. I might have to confirm with Chris, but I believe they've been.
I don't think that was going to be done until after the new year.
Well,
Right.
done, but
Yeah.
again, but they have,
Court won't be
yeah,
done,
yeah,
but
yeah, they have a lot of
my question is if the
a lot
survey
of
started.
field work.
Are they
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
field?
yeah.
I would think they are.
Well, have we shut down, has DPW shut down? We don't have anybody else paving anything now, right?
No, there may be some like
Curb work.
curbing and restoration stuff, but
But the real paving's done. Okay.
All right. All right. I think that's all we got. Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Steve Kirk, second.
Thank you very much. Thanks all. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.